Hello again, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kweku Ediama Ansa, and this is your travel plug. We've dealt with the very first part of my interview with Sam Charles. I told you he's an international student and he's been sharing with us every single experience he's had with regard to his academic journey. He's now in the US, and today I'm going to continue with my interview with him. Charles, thank you again, and we appreciate for the other time and we're grateful. But today we have more to talk about, right? But I want us to start off. You got to the immigration in your country of origin and also in the US. Tell me, what were some of the questions and the checks that were done when you even got to the immigration?
When I got to the port of entry, to be honest, I was very scared. I was very nervous because it's typical of we Africans that when we get to the point of entry and you've already posted it online that you have traveled America, blah blah blah. You are scared of what might happen. So at the port of entry, the first question I remember he asking me was passing me. He told me to pass my documents. I passed my I-20, the visa, yes. And then I was shaking. I was like, what if he asked me why I landed in this state? Because most people have this misconception that when you are supposed to school in, let's say, Pennsylvania and you land in New York, you might be returned. But I would answer that question too. So at the point of entry, he asked me which school I'll be going to, and I mentioned it, and he was like, am I living on campus? And I'm like, yes, I'll be living on campus. And then he was like, how much do I have on me? And I just said $200 because I was panicking. I didn't have $200 on me, but I just said it out of panicking. So I went ahead and asked something like, I don't really remember, but I think he asked just three questions. Yeah, he asked just the money, the school, and then if I'll be living on campus. And then he was like, he just took a stamp and just stamped it in my passport. Now, the reason why I was paranoid was because I had this fear that because my school is in West Virginia and I had landed in New York, I might be questioned. But the thing is, you have a visa to the US, okay? Most points of entries are New York or probably Washington. Yes, these states with the bigger airport. So when you land there, the airport officer doesn't know the immigration officer doesn't know that you are taking a transit to your real state. All they know is that you've landed into the United States. So when you get to the USA and let's say your school is in the east side and then you landed at the west side of the US, they might probably question you because I had a friend who was questioned because his school was the opposite of America and then he had to defend himself. So when you enter into the US, the first border or the first state you enter is your point of entry because you are in the US. So you've entered the first point of entry.
Oh, now let's assume you're done with the immigration stuff, you've gotten to your school. What was the welcome like? And I'm saying this because there are times people reach their schools and they're not so happy because, well, they don't have friends and all of that. How do you adapt to the new culture and how is the school treating you?
Okay, so when it comes to acclimatization or adapting, it wasn't easy for me in the beginning because I came to a school in a white state where you barely meet people from Africa. I'm the only person from Africa in my school. We recently had someone from Sierra Leone, but the rest of the Africans we have are South Africans, white South Africans. We barely have any Nigerian here. We don't have anyone from Africa here. So I wasn't getting it easy to adapt because you can't relate to people you don't know. You can't crack jokes with them. You can't talk to them like you understand. So getting adapted wasn't easy. But then I told myself that I either sink or I swim. So adapting wasn't easy, but then after some few months, you should be fine. You'll be mentally tough and you'll be fine. Professors in America are more passionate and are more concerned about your career compared to professors in Ghana. So I remember when I was in Ghana and I was schooling in a university in Ghana, one of our professors threatened us that she was going to fail the entire year group because she's done it before. Another professor also told me that he was going to give me an F in my class. But when I came here and I had a B in one of my courses, the professor called me. She was like, what is happening? How did you get a B? Are you okay? Is it my fault? So you could tell the difference is that in Ghana, they don't really care about your academic success, nothing. They are just there for the money, your receipt, and all those things. Whereas here, they are very passionate about it. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you survive here. So that is the difference.
Fortunately, I know that the US gives students an opportunity to work. I mean, just so they can take care of themselves and even fund their education at some point. I know you have 20 hours in a week to work, but tell me, how is the payment module like? Is it good money? Tell me.
Based on the state you live in, the state that I live in, minimum wage is $9, and that is how much they'll pay students. If you're a student, you are being paid a minimum wage. So when you go to a state like Ohio, my state, you should expect something less than $12 or $13 per hour, and you can only work 20 hours a week on campus. But then when you live in a state like New York, you should expect to be getting something around $30 an hour, $25 an hour, $19 an hour, and something. So it depends on the state that you live in, and the higher the cost of living in the state, the higher the minimum wage.
Finally, your last words to people who are embarking on the education journey from across the world. A lot of people want to study in the US because it's a very big place to be, a very great country, and all of that. Tell me what your advice would be like for people to go through this process.
I always tell people that if you can dream it, you can achieve it. As cliche as this sounds, if you can dream that you are in America, you can manifest it. You always see yourself in dreams in America. You are not supposed to give up. Okay, so you are going to meet hurdles. This is the most difficult journey you're about to embark on. You are going to meet hurdles. You are going to meet so many things that would prevent you from, coming to the US. But then once you are determined and you set your mind to it, you'll be able to make it.
Thank you again, Charles, for all the details you've given us. Charlie, I truly appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone who has watched this video will be appreciative of it too. And well, that's how we're ending it. Charles, thank you again. And so if you're yet to subscribe, you know how we do it. Please do subscribe. I have more information and more content coming your way. The next one, I will be talking to another student also who has embarked on his travel to the US. He's going to share with me what the experience has been like, amongst other things. But not just that, because I will be continuing with my episodes on the type of visas. Remember the H-1B2 visa, the K visa for fiancés, amongst other types of visas. So you want to stick and stay with me.